Hello, what is up, what is down, what is to the side? I have an extreme anxiety disorder called agoraphobia, which also includes a lot of panic attacks. So agoraphobia is when you're scared of leaving the house or like being far away from home and being alone, so being alone at home or like being alone outside, being away from safe zone. Last year I was too scared to even like walk to the park on my own, which is literally 2 minutes from where I was living, and I was even scared to like walk across the road to go and visit my friend, like just cross the road. When I was 19 I was too scared to like even just walk outside and like standing outside on the road, like just outside the door. I've been diagnosed since I was 13 with agoraphobia, but I did struggle a long time before that. When I was 12, I had pretty bad agoraphobia. I've also had it a lot back in primary school when I was scared of, you know, going to school and like my mom following me to theatre rehearsal and just leaving me there. I'd be terrified. My school isn't even far away from my house, but it was too far for me. And I wouldn't go anywhere alone, so I would rather have, if I was going to a birthday party, someone had to follow me and just like pretty much please stay there and wait for me. When you're a kid, you don't really, nobody will really pick up on it. People would just think like, okay, yeah, sure, she's a kid and she doesn't want to be alone. But it got progressively worse as I turned into a teenager, as I evolved into a teenager. And so when I was 12, 13, 14, I couldn't even leave the house. Like I didn't go to school, because even if someone followed me to school and was like sitting, if my mom was sitting waiting in the teacher's office whilst I was at school, that would be too hard. So when mom would drag me to theatre rehearsals, I would like hide in the closet and just like be like, no, I don't want to go. And I would count down like the hours. I'd be like, how long do I have to be here? How can I just get myself home now if I need to? It's all this planning. Especially people with agoraphobia have like these safe zones. So for me, my safe zone right now is thankfully my apartment. I can be in the hallway and I can be outside around in the park, and it's fine. If I'm like back at where I was living before, I would feel safer in a way, because I would feel like I'm still in my safe zone despite not having a home there anymore. My friend lives there though, so that might help. Yeah, so I have a little list here of everything you're scared of when you have agoraphobia. So visiting friends, phone calls, shopping malls, standing in a line or a queue, small rooms, rooms without windows, floor far away from the ground, like if you're high up in a hotel. Hotel rooms with magnetic car doors, horrible. Elevators, buses, trams, metro, cars, cinema, theatre, commitments. Ooh, I will like, you know, generally the city centre is really bad. But like commitments, I would be planning like how could I leave the room right now? How could I leave this meeting? I would make up like 1,000 different scenarios of how I could get out of my commitment, and that you're just so strong. The urge to cancel on something is so strong. It's like a freaking addiction. And theatres, because they close the door, and like how am I getting out? How many exits are there? Which row am I sitting at? And like, am I far into the row? Like, I would freak out. Theatres have been really bad. So there's only a certain theatre rooms where I would go. So if the play is up, for example, at the top floor of Nationaltheatret, I just simply will not go. Simply will not. Absolutely not. Horrible. And that sucks. Also theatre rehearsal rooms, like the black box, will be really hard, which sucks because I do acting as a professional job. I have to get over that fear. That's just because I've been in those rooms when I was really sick, like when I was like 12, 13, 14, and just placed triggers. This also co-occurs with generalized anxiety disorder, because I won't only just worry about how to get home, or if I'm gonna like have a panic attack, I will also worry about like all the other reasons despite the anxiety for why it won't work out. So you can imagine how isolated you get from having such a limited existence. You want to go out and swim with your friends when it's really hot, a summer day, but it's simply not worth the anxiety. Symptoms could be nausea, dizzy, like I get so dizzy, problems with balance, you know, visual disturbances, fog, lights flashing, you know, hard to focus, you can't really like see clearly, or like you get depersonalization, derealization, shaking or trembling, tension in your body. Breathing problems are a huge one. So this co-occurs with panic disorder. So my number one trigger with panic disorder is breathing. So horrible breathing problems. I feel like I'm breathing through like it feels like you're breathing through a plastic bag or something, or like that your throat is like closing up and it's just horrible, or that your lungs won't really take in the oxygen. Like you will breathe but it just doesn't feel like you're breathing. Yeah, so buses and trams and metros are a huge trigger for me, and that sucks because I live in the capital of Norway, which means you're not getting anywhere if you can't take those kind of transport. So I would definitely just cancel plans because of if I have to take the bus there, like I would rather not. So if it's like a summer party and we're just gonna like eat ice cream and have fun, I would simply cancel. Like if no one comes and like picks me up, I will cancel. It's very isolating, and it's not because I don't want to be social, it's not because I'm not looking forward to the actual thing, but it's just because the anxiety ruins the whole aspect of it and will take full ownership. So I won't see, you know, oh, we're gonna eat ice cream, oh, we're gonna have fun, oh, we're gonna laugh, oh, I'm gonna socialize. I only see, shit, I'm gonna have breathing problems there, and I'm gonna feel dizzy there, and I'm gonna be so nauseous at this point, and then I have to take the bus, and I'm gonna have to sit on the bus and try not to tremble too much, and like that's everything I see. So I will have like symptoms, like physical symptoms like the ones I mentioned, but also emotional and like mental symptoms. Like it's very draining, it's very yeah, it's not a good place to be, and it's not a good headspace. The trigger thoughts are many, and if I go into the trigger thoughts, there's so many worries. But yeah, my mom has, like, she's been following me places, and she's missed out on so much work because she needs to follow me like simply everywhere, like to the doctor's appointments. She had just to follow me to my therapist, my therapy appointments, despite it being like literally 3 or 10 minutes away. She would have to follow me to like meet my friends, to auditions, to my yoga classes or my climbing, and it's so deliberating. Like it takes away a lot of your freedom because you just simply cannot do things on your own. So you are so codependent on, like you're so dependent on someone to be available for your plans. My friends also like met me and followed me places. So yesterday I went climbing with my friend, and she was calling me being like, how do you get there, like is it okay, like should I come pick you up? So she met me halfway, which was really nice. I've had a hard time overcoming my agoraphobia. I went to residential treatment for it. That didn't really do much. The only thing was that I learned being away from home. I learned having my like own little room, and I learned going on hikes alone in the forest, which was great. Like I could go quite far on my own, but it came back at the end there. Like I had like a spike of like 2 weeks where it was really good, where I could like challenge myself. It was not comfortable, like challenge myself. I would walk down to the main like city center and buy coffee and go in the shopping mall. So that was freeing, because it was nice just challenging myself and seeing that I could survive that. The thing that's helped the most, metacognitive therapy. That was very helpful. I've used that a lot, so these days I do, you know, the plan of the day instead of the feels of the day, because if I would follow how I'm feeling, I would simply cancel everything. So say yesterday when I went to climbing, I had so bad anxiety, I barely could breathe. I still just stayed there because I was like, but my plan is to be here. Another thing that's been helpful is that I've gotten a mental health care worker this May or something like that. So she would follow me to my driving lessons, so my mom don't have to skip work. And we also practice taking the metro. I have kind of fought my way back to taking the bus right now, but that could be very periodically. So I can take the bus if it isn't too far, and especially just the bus that I'm like used to. Agoraphobia, an extreme anxiety disorder that's just really eating up your whole life. When I'm outside, I spend so much time masking it. So I would stand there just masking, and on the bus I will mask, and most of the time I won't manage, so I will just start like it will just explode, and I'll start like crying and hyperventilating, and people will be like, in no way nobody ever talks to you. So it's kind of disgusting and horrible, and I hate it. And I'm not embarrassed for crying, because you'll be crying too if you experience the turmoil that I experience, but it's just so horrible that people simply will pretend that you don't exist, and you're in desperate panic, derealized and depersonalized, and you feel like you are not existing, and then people literally are ignoring you. Also, I heard that there's a lot of misunderstandings, like that people choose to sit at home, that we don't like people, and that we don't want to be part of society, and that is so wrong. I literally want to be a part of society so bad. I literally want to just go out with my friends to the movies, or go out and swim on these really hot days like today. I simply cannot. Like, I can force myself to do it, but I simply will not function. My body will just go into lockdown, and there's nothing I can do. That's everything for this video though, so if it was helpful, then give it a thumbs up, subscribe, because I will probably make more of this, and then I will see you in the next one. And then, like, actually, I think you could cook rice with me right now.